Okay. Right. Good morning, folks. Welcome to PYCON UK 2022. You might have noticed a slight change of conference director. I'm not Daniele. My name's Anne. I'm the conference director for this year, but those of you who've been before will have met Daniele. He is around, so you will have the opportunity to catch up with him. And I have the honour of welcoming everybody back to Cardiff for this year's conference, which has not been without its challenges, and it's our first one back after the pandemic. So thank you for your support for us. I will just go through the sort of parish notices for this opening slot, and I will catch up with you all over the duration of the conference. So already onto the slide that I'll not put up on the screen, but hey. Yeah, I know that there are many familiar faces here. There are many people who are meeting up with friends that they haven't seen for a couple of years, but there's also quite a few new people to PYCON, so welcome to all of you. If you are a frequent flyer, please make the newbies feel welcome. We haven't managed to organise any social events this year, so I would call out if anybody's organising something after the conference to go and get a drink in Cardiff or something like that, ask around, seeing if there's any new folk who are here for the first time, and welcome them into our community. I've said to plenty of people over the years that, you know, it is without doubt the friendliest conference on the planet. Let's make sure that we make anybody who's new feel that from 2022. So that would be my ask of you today. I've seen lots of things already on Twitter, so yeah, use the hashtag PyConUK if you want to use that as to kind of marshal people and things like that. And when we get to the close of the day, if anybody's doing anything that they want me to give a shout out about, then let me know and we can do that. PyCon UK is a community conference. It's run entirely by volunteer organisers who fit it into their spare time. Everybody else has a family and a day job and all these sorts of things that go along the side. So I am just going to say a thank you to the volunteer organisers who have been putting up with me, trying to get them on a video call every fortnight for, well, I think most of this year, frankly. As I say, I'm Anne. We've got anybody with a red lanyard is one of the organisers. So if you do have questions during the conference, then by all means, find one of us and we'll try and answer your questions. Owen Campbell is around somewhere. If you just want to, yeah, make yourselves known, folks. Christian's not able to be here today, but he's all things money, I just defer to Christian. So he's like a huge support to me. It's like, I don't know the answer to that. Just ask Christian, he'll sort that out for me. Vince, I have seen somewhere. Yep, Vince is there. Gail will get a mention further on, but I won't steal that thunder. Danny, who's busily marshalling volunteers for us. Daniele, who I have seen around and about, but he's dealing with things for us. Becky, who is worthy of absolute special mention because she's goddess of all things facilities, and everything has just happened, and I have come and people have said, we're going to do this, that, and the other. It's like, that's fine. If you've organised with Becky, that is no problem. And Sandy Walker, who again has not been here, but another absolute stalwart who's done all the website stuff for me. So randomly on a Tuesday night at 10:15, he'll get a message from me saying, you just put the code of conduct on the website, please, or something similar, or I've now got a sponsor logo or whatever else. And like I say, volunteer, he's got other things going on in his life. You know, within 24 hours, I will usually have whatever it was I asked for. So although he's not here, a huge thanks. So huge thanks to all the team. As I say, if you need to speak to anybody, we've got the red lanyards, catch up with us. And I realised I missed Tim, but I'll mention you in special mentions in a moment, Tim. Thank you also to, it's all right, it's on another slide. Don't panic. Thank you to all our volunteers. I know a number of you have volunteered to help out with some of the things that just kind of keep the wheels turning actually during the conference. If anybody does want to get involved in doing things like helping on the welcome desk or just sort of running around doing jobs, then have a word with Danny, and she's got a spreadsheet and she'll deal with that for me. So, yeah, you are on the next slide. Tim Williams and our helper. So Tim kind of commands, is that the best word to use, Tim? Commands the video team and does a sterling job of getting videos of the talks up onto YouTube. So anything that you see during the talk, provided the speaker's happy for us to do so, will go up onto YouTube over the coming days. Huge thank you to Cheryl and Julia, who are our, I actually had to write out on my notes, speech-to-text reporters, because I just always say STTRs, and it did occur to me that I wasn't entirely sure what that actually stood for. But speech-to-text reporters, one of the things we want to do is be as inclusive as possible at the conference, and one of the ways we do that is by these screens having the wise words that other people will be uttering from this stage over the duration of the conference. If you are a speaker and you haven't had an opportunity to send your special words or awkward pronunciations or anything that would be helpful for the STTRs to us yet, if you could just send that to the usual email address, and then we'll pass that on to Cheryl and Julia so that they stand a fighting chance of being able to write it on the screen. Huge thanks to City Hall staff. I mean, they are always brilliant. We've used this venue for a few years now, but this year, you might have noticed, has not been without its challenges. So they have been fantastic over the last week of just making things work for us. We did have a very real fear a week ago that we were going to have to cancel the conference. And they've just been amazing about saying, how can we make this work? And we have managed to make it work. It will have an impact on us. Those of you who've been before, we're pretty much contained to the upstairs. The lower hall is used for the books of condolence. We have got toilets up here, more on toilets in a moment, but we will have refreshments will be up here. We've got space in the Ferrier Hall for refreshments and also spaces for us to go to eat. So we'll pretty much be self-contained up here, but we are making it work, and we've got a conference, which, as I say, a week ago it was all slightly fraught, shall we say. Please be respectful of anybody who's coming in to sign the books of condolence. Everybody has a different kind of position on things. Our sponsors, huge thanks to our sponsors, several of whom I can see at the back today and who are obviously all out in the Marble Hall. Do go and speak to our sponsors. If it wasn't for our sponsors, I was doing the maths yesterday, your ticket would cost you twice as much as you've paid to come to the conference today. So yeah, we can be cynical about the commercials or whatever else, but at the end of the day, if they weren't here, then it would cost all of us a lot more to come and enjoy the conference. We wouldn't have the creche, we wouldn't have the financial assistance program, and we wouldn't have the STTRs, we wouldn't have the Welsh cakes. So, let's focus on the important things. So yeah, just a shout out to all of our sponsors. They are all, most of them have can't think of the word, table, booth, whatever you want to call it, out in the Marble Hall. But thank you to JP Morgan Chase and Co., who are our headline sponsor this year, and then all the other sponsors. So as I say, please go and have a talk with them. As I say, JP Morgan Chase are our headline sponsors. Our gold sponsors are Bloomberg, Cookpad, and Microsoft this year. Silver are Anvil, Benchsci, Invenia, Sorcery, and TaiPi. And then our bronze sponsors are Pi XXL and Money Supermarket. So thank you very much to all the sponsors for supporting us and helping us to go ahead. AV Services team, Enthusiasm Events, who appeared yesterday and got things set up and just kind of make it all happen for us. So thank you to them. These are all things that need to be in place for conference to happen. Thank you to everybody who submitted a talk and is coming along to speak, who's presenting a workshop, and just generally helping out. You have got a QR code on your badge. We aren't taking your contact details. This will take you direct to the schedule. So if you want to double check, the schedule's on the on the website. Although we've scaled back the conference this year and it's a single track of talks, we've still got a really rich and varied program of activities. The talks will be in here, but there's also 3 workshops running alongside a number of points during the conference. And as I say, your QR code will take you to the schedule. The conference wouldn't happen without you, so thank you for all the support and love we've had, you know, shout outs on social media, emails to us and what have you, and for coming along and joining us, and for selling out our tickets. We did cap our tickets this year, but we also did sell out, so thank you to all of you for that and for your support. Couple of kind of housekeeping points. Code of conduct. We do have a code of conduct. It's on the website. Please do read it. All of you, by having a ticket, have agreed to abide by the code of conduct. It's not a list of things that you're not allowed to do. It's a statement of kind of our values and our beliefs, a description of how we want people to behave. Lots of different people that are at the conference. In previous years, we've had a Children's Day. We obviously won't have as many youngsters today, but there will be some younger folk coming along as well. So just consider your language and your behaviour and just check that it's appropriate for a general audience. Large variety of expectations and large variety of what people feel comfortable seeing, hearing and doing. So just be sort of cognizant of that, I suppose. Yeah, and it also applies to talks. You know, if you're going to talk about a sensitive topic, please do just bear in mind the effect that this might have on people and use some tact and consideration. If there are any concerns over code of conduct or something that you're not happy about, then we have a phone number. I would encourage you to maybe take a photo of the screen if you need it. So there's a phone number and an email address. In person, Gail is our code of conduct person. So, but speak to any of the organisers if there is anything that you have a concern about. As I say, there's also the other means of getting in touch with us. On to my next one. I'm not going to do this the justice that Daniele has done in previous years, but I'm going to do the toilet talk. Those of you who have been before, yes. Yes, so the toilet talk. The toilets in this building are from the 19th century. They are clearly labelled as ladies and gentlemen, and this doesn't necessarily reflect the reality of our attendees at the conference. But there's a limit to what we can do with the real estate. Someone might feel, for example, that a certain person doesn't look enough like a woman to use the ladies' toilets, but our policy is quite simple. We trust our attendees to choose and use the facilities appropriate for them, and we expect them to be left in peace while doing so. So please respect the people and please respect the space. And if you have any concerns, you're welcome to address them to the committee, but no one is to be harassed whilst using the toilets. Thank you. Questions? Okay, what is a question exactly? We have had feedback before that sometimes speakers who invite questions get spoken at, shall we say. So a question, the purpose of your question, if you would like to ask a question, is to give the speaker a chance to share something that you didn't know. It's not your opportunity to show all the amazing and wonderful things that you do know. Our chairs will be strident in making sure that it is actually a question, and if it's not a question, you won't get an answer to it, so you've had fair warning. A good question will show how brilliant the speaker is, not how brilliant you are. Badges, please wear them. That's our way of knowing that the only folk that are in here are the folk that are supposed to be in here. We do have stickers. We've gone for plain badges. Some of these decisions that have been made this year are just down to capacity and availability. But if you would like a more snakified conference badge, in IJK&L, the rooms down there, there are a whole variety of stickers. Yes, I can see a few people waving them. I ordered a lot of stickers, so please don't be shy about going to get stickers if you want them on your badge. But please do wear your badges, because that's how we know that folk are here, and that should be here. We've gone for a bring your own lanyard policy this year. We're trying to do our bit for not just increasing rubbish and what have you. So if you don't want to be photographed, please make sure you've got a yellow lanyard. We have got a few spares downstairs, but if you don't want to be in any of the photographs, we've got the official photographer. I've seen him dotting around already, but yellow. Red is for staff. I don't know why I put staff in there. I don't like staff. But anyway, red is for folk that you can come to if there's an issue. Any other colour means you're happy to be photographed. We do have spares downstairs, so if anybody doesn't have a lanyard, then come and get one. And if you want a yellow one, again, come and get one. There is Wi-Fi in here, Cardiff free Wi-Fi. Most people, I think, who've tried to get on it have managed to get on it, but that is free to use. You don't need to sign up or what have you. You can just log on to Cardiff free Wi-Fi. We are on Twitter. We've had a few tweets have gone out this morning. So at PYCON UK is our Twitter handle, and you can obviously use the hashtag PYCON UK or PYCON UK 2022. I'll pause there because a few people taking photos just to make it easier. Okay. Lunch. As I said earlier, we're going to be sort of contained up here this year, so lunch will be served at the top of the Marble Hall and in the Ferrier Hall, so that's where the catering team will be actually serving the food. We do have, again, the table set up in IJKNL for you to go and chat to people, eat your lunch, etc., etc. So there should be plenty of space, enough space for everybody. They will label the food that's on the table, but if you also want to check out the dietary information, it is on our website. It's in a hidden page, so again, anybody who wants to know that, if you just make a note of the website address, then you can check that down. Today's activities, we have workshops in 3 rooms, I think, today, and we have talks in here. As I mentioned earlier, the schedule is available on the website. You can get to it from your QR code, or again, if you want to make a note, that's how you get to the schedule. The close of the day today will be lightning talks, and that gives me my opportunity to hand over to Mark, who is going to do bucket chat.
That was the first thing Anne said to me yesterday. Will you do the bucket talk? So, which is shorthand for, will I introduce everybody to how the lightning talks work at PYCON UK? So it's my great privilege to be the MC for the lightning talks, which is a session we'll be running at the end of every day. If you haven't been here or a conference that runs lightning talks before, it's an hour-long session, I think. Yes. Of short talks, up to 5 minutes long, and they're given by you. So it's up to you to come up with the content of this. Anything that you think is interesting, that could be Python related, perhaps you might get away with something that's not Python related, but you think might be interesting to this audience, I recommend that you submit a talk. And that is where I come to the buckets. So we have a system where we have 2 buckets. They're out at the end of the hall on a table. And one of the main aims of the lightning talks is to introduce our community, the newer members of our community, to the joy of public speaking at a PyCon. So we have 2 buckets, one for new speakers and one for more experienced speakers. The idea is you'll go over to the table, fill out an index card with the title of your talk, your name, and a short description of the talk, and then you stick it in the bucket that you think most matches your experience of speaking. How many new people have we got here? How many people haven't been to a PyCon UK before? So that's quite a lot of people. Yeah, welcome. It's kind of stolen my thunder a little bit. So what I want to show you is what happens after you've finished your talk and you metaphorically take your bow at the stage. The audience will erupt in cheering, stamping feet, and applause, and it sounds a bit like this. Thank you very much. Just proving once again that PyCon UK is one of the friendliest conferences on the planet. So I think, did I explain that all? Have I missed anything?
No, I think
that's me.
That's very good. Oh, I guess the only thing is we do kind of put the running order once we
That's right, sorry. We'll take the buckets away sometime around lunchtime. So get your cards in the morning, and then we'll select the talks for the afternoon, and we will put them up on a flip chart that's next to the table so people can see that their talk's been selected. So thank you very much.
Yes, and obviously today we're starting at 11 o'clock. Historically, we've started at 9, so I realise that lunchtime probably isn't that far away, but if you've got something in mind that you want to talk about, and it doesn't I've heard all sorts of things. I've heard people talk about CPR and all sorts of technical subject. DICE, I seem to remember, was one of the previous lightning talks. So it is a wide and varied experience, a lightning talk. So don't feel that if you have something you're interested in, then put it in the bucket, because you'll guarantee that someone else will be. So, but get your thinking caps on now, because obviously for today, probably back end of lunch, I guess we'll do it today. We'll get the cards out of the bucket. I'm a little bit ahead of myself. I was supposed to hand over to the keynote speaker at 11:30, but in my usual habit of speaking way too quickly, we have 8 minutes in hand. So I guess before I do the handover and the welcome to Hannah, I'll give her a few minutes just to compose herself, because like I say, it's like, well, you didn't expect to be doing this for another 8 minutes. I guess just throw the floor open and just say, does anybody have anything that they are unsure of that I haven't covered in what I've spoken about so far? Any concerns that we can help with right here, right now? Or are we all just happy and excited to be here? Okay. Can some... Yeah, thank you, that's helpful. There isn't this year, unfortunately. It is a pared back version of the conference, and that is just down to capacity of organisers. So, I apologise for that. We don't have a Slack or anything similar that we can share. So, thank you for that question. I had missed that out of my kind of information. Yeah.
So, are you saying there's going to be about 10 lightning talks at the end of the day, roughly?
They're 5 minutes a piece, aren't they, the lightning talk? So how many do we normally end up with in a session?
Usually about 10, but it's also up to 5 minutes. So people have 1 minute content.
Okay, I don't know whether everybody would have been able to hear that, but what Mark was saying is it's up to 5 minutes. So if you've got 1 minute of content, that's absolutely fine. You can do a lightning talk, and then we'll fit a few more in, but it's approximately 10. We'll have lightning talks today, tomorrow, and Sunday, so you will get the opportunity to put things in over the rest of the conference. We usually get loads, actually, so if you've got an idea, stick it in, and there'll be a feeder through. Because we are trying to encourage new speakers to feel comfortable speaking, there will be an amount of differentiation as to whether you're a new or an experienced speaker. So if you're a new speaker, you probably stand a better chance of getting your talk up on the list for any given day. But we think that's the best way to make it easy for people who do want to take that first step into talking in front of an audience, an audience or a sea of faces. Yeah.
Will the bucket be clear at the end of the day? Or will we carry on?
Right, I'll let you.
Sorry, I realised this is becoming an extended Q&A, but they're all questions, so that's okay. Sorry, what was the question?
Will the bucket be clear at the end of the day, or will the lightning talk that's not selected be carried on in the next day?
So no, it will be emptied at the end of the day. So if you want to apply again, come talk to me. Maybe I'll stash them away somewhere if you don't want to write out the card again. But it is only an index card at the end of the day. If you get selected for one day and your talk doesn't make it, if it just runs over because technical issues or something like that, we will keep that in the selection for the next day. So you won't have to reapply if your talk doesn't make it for one day. Any more questions? One more question at the back.
Are there any visuals associated with the lightning talk, like slide, chalkboard, anything like that?
Absolutely. Usually we have slides. So I tell tractor jokes in between the talks while people are plugging in their laptops. Hopefully, they're not very long tractor jokes. And unfortunately, technology seems to be getting better. I'm going to touch some wood right now.
Kettle of the water.
so-
We don't want that. Disaster right here, right now.
Okay, I think that's probably cleared things up. So are we okay to move to the next bit? Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Right, okay. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you, Mark. And okay, so I'm going to hand over to Hannah Hazy, who is going to speak to us about unexploded bombs. We did discuss last week whether that was a tempting fate decision for the opening keynote, but just to introduce Hannah, Hannah's a developer advocate at Anvil. What she told us about herself is that she likes tinkering with Raspberry Pi, playing German board games, and ranting about legacy code. So please do feel free to pick up with Hannah at any point. Hannah is happy to take questions, but she may not have time, so we'll play that by ear, but we'll be around over the rest of the conference, so catch up with her during the rest of the conference if we don't get the opportunity to ask questions now. So can I have the first keynote speaker of PyCon UK 2022, a big round of applause.